Hello and welcome. This is Eagle Eye 621, and what you see behind me is a max speed flower farm. This works with all of your too tall flower varieties and puts out some impressive speeds. I typically make things a little bit simpler on this channel, but for this build, we are making it slightly more complex than your standard too tall flower design over there, which I will show you how to make just by way of comparison if you want something a little bit slower and a little bit smaller, to give you some ideas on the rates. This machine you see behind me will pump out 162,000 flowers per hour. That's over 2,500 stacks, or just about 94 chests. Again, that's per hour. It's about 2,700 per minute, which is 45 per second. This will fill a chest in under 40 seconds. And based on your output, you're typically using this for the flowers, but also for the dyes themselves. And because each flower puts out 2 dye, this is over 320,000 dye per hour. You can fill a full chest of dye in less than 20 seconds. By comparison, the one you see behind me, this smaller one, does about 5 flowers per second, which is 18,000 per hour. It's about 10.5 chests per hour. Now, let's talk a little bit about the flowers, and then we'll build the machines. That's in this chest right here. The 4 flowers that we're talking about are the sunflower, the lilac, the rose, and the peony. Now, this will give you 2 pink dye per flower. This one is 2 red, 2 magenta, and 2 yellow. And you can combine your yellow and your red to make 2 orange dye. So from this farm, you can generate 5 of the different types of dyes. Now, let's actually turn them on so you can see the speed, and then we'll build them. This is your regular one, and there are a couple of ways to build this general idea. Some of them a little bit smaller, but this is just a nice little comparison in a similar style. And you can see roughly how fast that is without the numbers just by looking at it. And we can turn that off and get rid of all of these extra flowers. And now let's turn this one on and see what kind of speed we get here. As you can see, that is significantly faster. In fact, it is 9 times faster. So you can get a lot of flowers and a lot of dye in not a lot of time. And let's turn this off. I will also note that fully stocked, this is capable of producing 3 chests of dye before you need to restock the bone meal. So let's start with this little one. And what you're talking about are the items in this chest. Now, you don't need the grass block. You can just plant the flower, but I just have that there so we can build it here. And it works, again, with any of your 4 flower types. So let's grab these materials. And you're going to want to plant your flower, whichever one you want. You can have a temporary block there just to be able to put a dispenser, and it has to be a dispenser, not a dropper, facing into the flower. And then you're going to want to power that with an observer clock. So we can do it in this direction, where we're going to push our observer, get rid of this flower because it's in the way, in that direction, so we can have our lever on top of this block, and then just have our sticky piston facing into that. And now when you turn this on, you start your observer clock, and if we had our flower here and this chest or dispenser was filled with bone meal, and you get your flowers. And you can make a tiny one just that fast and just that simple. But now if we want to maximize the speed, we need to add more of these dispensers. As you can see, the flower is under here, fully encased in dispensers on all sides, which is how you maximize that speed. And what you're going to need are the items in this chest. And again, that grass block is not necessary. You can just plant the flower wherever you'd like. Works with all of your 2 high flowers. And you're going to need more bone meal than this, but this is just to show you what you want. And once again, these are dispensers, not droppers. So let's get those into the inventory and find ourselves a little bit of space. And we're going to have to measure this one out a little bit more carefully so you can see what's going on. We're going to want to put our glass block wherever our flower is going to be. And then you can see we have on opposite corners these solid blocks. So we can pick these two corners, make those too high, starting with the level of the flower itself. And that's going to allow us to put our dispensers facing inwards, just like this. If you can see that. And we're going to mirror that on this side with our dispensers all facing in to the center point. And now we're going to want to be able to power these blocks with our observer clock. So we can take our lever and put it just like this. So you can see that we're going to have sticky pistons and we're going to have our lever with the second block, just like that. So now we can put our sticky pistons, just like this, facing out from that block. Again, we have one level with this solid block and one lever with the lever. And then we're going to be pushing our observers into facing another set of observers. So we need observers facing inward on this side and facing inward on this side, just like that. And then we need to place some observers facing those. And we can do that on both sides. And right now it's making a clock, but we'll get rid of that in a moment. And now we can activate this lever and pull those observers out of the way. So now whenever we turn this on, we'll have a pushed observer clock, just like that. And we need to be able to put in one more dispenser facing down. But before we do that, we are going to want to pick our flower that we want to put in. So how about our lilac, just like this. And then we are going to use some temporary blocks to help us aim, because we want to be able to put the dispenser facing downward. So we're going to place it just like that, and that way it is looking down. And then we can grab one more sticky piston, and we're going to put it above that lever, just like this. And now we can put an observer facing in this direction, as well as an observer facing in this direction, so that when this one pushes, it will push directly there. So now when we turn this on, you'll see we have 5 observer clocks going, and they're powering 9 dispensers. Now we can turn these off, and we can fill each of these dispensers with bone meal. So let's just fill a bit. We don't have to fill them completely. In your world, you are going to want to fill them all the way, because each one of these bone meal will turn into a flower. It is a 1-to-1 conversion. Don't forget to fill the ones on the inside. And of course, we want to make sure that we fill all of them, just like this. And just like this. And now, when we activate this lever and get rid of everything in my inventory, you can see that we are making a lot of flowers very fast. Again, this is over 320,000 die per hour at the rate that these plants are going. I'll turn it back off when you are done. You don't need any more flowers, or you have all the dye you need, and then you can come back whenever you'd like in order to get more. And it's just that fast. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate a like. If you found it interesting, maybe even share it with one of your friends. And for more videos like this, do be sure to subscribe. I will also note that YouTube has given me a join button. If you wish to support me in that way, there is that button right next to that subscribe button. You can see what additional perks are offered at the various tiers. Thanks for stopping by.